What's going on, everyone? Gilman with Wellthy Stocks, back with our daily Apple update video where we take a look at how Apple stock traded today, key levels of support and resistance that we are looking at moving into the future, and based on that, what we think Apple stock could do. So real quick, if you enjoy videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you are new, and comment down below what your thoughts on Apple are, and I'd love to chat with you guys down there. Let me hit record and we will get right into it. So small green day for Apple, nothing too crazy, but it's something that we needed. We've seen a whole lot of red this week. And so, yesterday we talked about, getting that little bit of a green candle. So hopefully, this is the start of smaller green candles as we consolidate and then we start to push back up. So a couple key things that I want to really quickly cover. They're in talks to buy LiDAR technology for self-driving car. That doesn't necessarily have as much of an impact on Apple currently, right? It has more to do with, those LiDAR companies. We saw a couple stocks rise today. The other thing we want to talk about is they're developing a magnetic iPhone battery pack attachment. So, I think that's pretty cool. And as we see that come into fruition, I definitely think that there's going to be more excitement around that. But just really quickly wanted to cover those two things. They're talking about those sensors, but we don't know anything really about them yet. And as we saw last time, right, with the Hyundai Kia deal, even when we got that news, it didn't really pop as much as we had hoped to. It only popped that first time that we got news that they were developing a car to be coming out in 2024. So it'll be really interesting to see. I do think that it's going to serve as a catalyst. It's just a matter of when, people treat it as an actual catalyst rather than just another rumor. So now let's take a look at Apple and how it traded today. I am hitting the 1-day chart. Okay, so here we go. I just had to restart Webull here real quick, which is what I use to do, stock analysis here. So if you're interested, link in the description below. But let's get right into it. So yesterday we closed here in the high 129s, and today, for the first half of the day, looked pretty nice for Apple. So we pushed up and broke into this 130.20s level that we were looking at. And the open was such a swing. Look, we went from mid 130s to mid 129s, broke into our 130s level, went right back down, bounced, VWAP test, came down, and then pushed up, broke this level, and then went up to the 130.70s, came down. This time we actually bounced perfectly from our 130.20s level, pushed up again. I thought we were gonna go for a new high a day. Couldn't make it there, and then the second half of the day, typical OPEX fashion, right? Options expiring today, so we went all the way from 130.60s to 128.80s, hung out here, and then in the last kind of half hour or hour, pushed back up from the 129s to the 130 level, and then came right back down before. We're selling off a little in the after hours, so technically that does put us at a little bit of a red for the day, but still, a little bit better than kind of what we'd seen in the past few days. So let me zoom in here and we'll see what we see. So let me just kind of recap a little bit what happened this week. So this trend line is what we were looking at over the course of the long term. And the reason we look at this trend line is because, hey, look, bounce, kind of bounce again, and then bounce. So we were hoping for that bounce on 216 3 days ago. We did not get that bounce, you guys. We broke below, as you could see. So that trend line is now broken, and now we are trying to figure out where we find support and where we start moving up from. The reason I look at this is because, look, I mean, a trend line, EMAs, they all give us really good indication of where the stock could go. Apple can make amazing products, as they do, and have monster quarters like they did, and the stock, as you could see, is still going from 145 to testing 127s like yesterday, right? So greatest quarter of all time, still sells off close to 20%, 18 to 20%. So that's why I like looking at trend lines. That's why I like looking at EMAs. So now let's get right into the analysis. So what do we have coming up from levels of support, levels of resistance? We'll discuss that and we'll kind of see where the stock is going. So similar to the past couple of days, we are again below the 55 EMA, and that's, I think, the first level that we need to capture. 130 is kind of a mental level that I want to capture, and this 130.20s is the level that we have here on here. And the 130.44 is the 55 EMA. So really break into 130, capture the 130.44. After that, I want us to push towards 130.145, and then the 8 EMA comes with our next level in the mid 132s. Look, I understand that, that sounds like a little bit far away, but I think once Apple starts moving, we could definitely see that happen in a matter of a day or two, right? On the downside, since that's what we are a little bit more focused on, because Apple has not been doing too well, the first level of support we have, and we kind of almost went down there today, right? Our low of day was 128.80s. We have a good support in the 128.50s. That's our first level of support. And then we've got the low of yesterday in the 127.40s. And then we've got this other support level right here with the 89 EMA. And those come in kind of in the low to mid 126s, right? The 89 EMA is 126.28. And this level is at 126.60. So on the downside, again, watching this 128, mid 128s, and watching yesterday's low of day at 127.41. And then watching this mid 126s and the 89 EMA in the 126.28. I mean, look, the key here, and again, this is what I've said the past couple of days, is we either are going to go down to visit the 89 EMA or we need to capture the 55 EMA. One of those two things really, really needs to happen for us to kind of establish which way we are headed. Look, we haven't been able to get up there for the past 2 days. The good news though is that we've made higher high and a higher low. So could this be the start of maybe a little turnaround? Do we start pushing up again, right? Is this the rounding up? Who knows? Only time will tell. But what I can tell you is we really, really need to capture this 55 EMA, because if we struggle to do that and struggle to break 130s, as I said before, as I said over here, we do have run room all the way down to the 126s and the 89 EMA. Now, let me get rid of these drawings for a second, and there's kind of a couple holistic things that I want to point out. So if we take a look here, pretty much since this whole COVID situation started, right? March and April timeline of last year, we have visited the 89 EMA a couple times. So we visited in September 20s, we visited it early November, we almost visited it here in late November, but we've never gone below it, right? So it's been almost a year and we haven't gone below the 89 EMA, which is why I think that 126 level is really, really good level of support. Again, it doesn't have to hold up, but I'm just saying if the past year is any indication of what is to come, that 89 EMA has held up really, really nicely. Again, we scrolled back here. And even the 55 EMA, right? The 55 EMA, whenever we visited, like here, we almost visited it. Here we went below it, here we went below it, here we went kind of below it. So that didn't bounce perfectly there, but that's why I'm saying that, most of the times when we've broken below that, like here, right? We dipped below the 55, made it halfway to 89, and then we came right back up. That could happen again this week, but that's what I'm saying. It's key for us to kind of take over that 55 EMA so that we don't push further down. The other thing I want to point out that I don't like seeing in Apple currently is we are below our 50-day moving average, you guys, and that's not something, again, it's happened before and we've come right above it, right? It's happened a couple times in the past year or so, 3 times to be exact. So hoping that, this is short-lived and that we come up. But I think next week is going to be crucial in us, both taking over the 50-day moving average and taking over the 55 EMA. I don't personally think we fall down to the 200-day moving average. I do think, though, that we have a greater chance of falling to this 89 EMA as we've done previously. But if today's higher high, higher low than yesterday's any indication, then I think we start to, push up, assuming that, by the time Monday rolls around, this whatever we are having to go at, or assuming that we gap up on Monday a little bit, or at least wipe out this red we're seeing in the after hours. So that's what I'm looking at, you guys, going into next week. Again, I'll make another weekly update video over the weekend to take a look at some other things and kind of recap the week. But as of right now, crucial for us to take over the 55 EMA in the 130.44s to kind of use that as our level of support rather than breaking below it and having that run room down to the 89 EMA. So hope you guys all had an amazing week. I'm still in that call that I mentioned yesterday. I think it was either flat or slightly red today. Not too concerned because I've bought myself a decent amount of time on that one. I'll keep you guys posted on that. I also have a vertical put spread on Apple expiring in March. That's a little negative, but I mean, that's why I buy time and that's why I like vertical put spreads, because there's always a chance of it coming around. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. Hope you guys had a great week and have an amazing weekend. That's all I had for you guys. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Let's remember to be a bit better every single day. And until next time.